evening. Okay, let's get into it. We have a request to join from Katie. So let me introduce tonight. I'll bring you in a sec, Katie. Let me introduce you to tonight. So tonight is a discussion, question and answer session between yourselves and the audience with my guest, who is a care leaver, and she has an interesting experience to share. I have some questions for her. Western Goddess, how you doing? I have some questions for her about her experience. I want you to feel free to ask your questions. I'm going to bring her in now. Welcome back to the Social Work Race. This will be saved on our live session. Please share this live with your friends. Just before we bring her in, I just want to say, I do want to say thank you for your support, but we've been keeping it very real in the Hey Nats, in the posts on TikTok. That's where a lot of the work is done, and a bit more through LinkedIn. Please listen, guys, if you want to be social workers, keep tuning in, because we keep it real here. You will understand what social work literally looks like. Katie Ann is also going to give me a strong critique and an experience, and share her experience of care social workers. Please get your questions ready. Don't hold back. We've got a lot to learn. Hopefully she'll come in now. Yes. So for some of you who've been on the show for a while, here she is. Some of you who've been on the show for a while, you will have noticed, I noticed that you all are still progressing through your student journey. Keep going, okay? Hello, Katie, how you doing?
Oh, hello, how are you?
Good.
I'm good.
So I'm just gonna break it down as to why your camera's not on, and I've asked her to not do that because she's going to be, I like to protect the guests' interests. And so she is, although she's been very forthcoming, we've agreed that the camera will be off. That's how I do it. Yeah, thank you, Nats, as well. Katie, how you doing? You're all set for this discussion today?
Yeah, a little nervous, but yeah, I'm ready.
You won't believe it, but I also get nervous every time as well. I mean, I just came out the
Oh,
shower. Of course,
yeah.
of course.
Okay.
I do this all the time. I might be a little bit courageous, but the nerves are still there. Trust me.
Okay.
Trust me. All right.
We'll
So
get over it
you
together
listen. In
as we go.
about 10 seconds, it will be gone. You're gonna forget. Trust me. Just like
Okay.
some of the people listening have also been on the show as well. A lot of the audience are social work students, newly qualified social workers, and they've come to learn, and I'm asking them to ask you questions. It's a very good crowd. I don't know if I got a cough tonight. What's going on? Suddenly, when the show starts, let me just take a sip of this before we cough ourselves out of the studio. Let's see how that goes. So guys, oh my goodness. Let me introduce you to Katie, who has bravely come on to talk. And what I'll do is vibes only. The nerves definitely pass. Yeah, they do go. They do go. So you're going to be fine. So what I will say is, Katie, what I will do is I'm going to ask you some questions about you. What we're not going to do is mention anyone's names. We haven't even mentioned your name, even though I'm only referring to your handle on Insta. I'm going to ask you all kinds of questions about your life. We're going to start with where you're at now. Shall we? No, let's take it back to front. We're going to come back to where you are now. So how old are you?
30 now.
30 now. Okay. And let's start with your identity. This is almost like an assessment. You might have been for an assessment before, but let's a bit like an assessment. Tell us about your ethnicity, your culture.
I am African, specifically Somali. and I am Muslim as well.
Mm.
Um, any other descriptions? I
Yeah.
think that's
You can tell us what part of the country you live,
London.
and do you identify as a Muslim?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have any brothers and sisters?
Yes, I do. I have 7 younger
Why?
siblings. Yeah,
So you're the oldest of 7. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I'm the oldest. My youngest is 15. My youngest sister is 15. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
only 2 years from my own child. 2 year difference. So they're quite close in age. So
Imagine that. That's
yeah.
crazy. Okay. And tell me about are you well, I mentioned to everyone that you're a care leaver. Um, tell us about your journey into care. So you can start maybe a few years before if you want to. I think that would be a good place. Let's go a few years before you entered into care. Tell us about your life.
Um, this I would say it's not as straightforward because well, when this started, we used to live in Holland, yeah. We moved here in 2006. So by that time, maybe I was about 12. So obviously this has happened there and it's happened here. Obviously everything kicked off here with social services, I mean.
Mm,
So it started from what I can remember was when I was in primary school from like the earliest. That's what I can remember. That's when you start having more memories of what you do, having more of a routine. So before that, I can't remember. It might have been before that, I don't know.
yeah.
But I do remember when I was maybe year 1 or reception. I do remember from that time.
Mm.
So it started from there. It was happening like, did you want me to break down like when it was happening? And I
Okay,
don't know.
so what it is that is it primary school we're at now?
Yeah, yeah,
We're at primary school. You're about probably what, 8, 9?
yeah,
8, 9. And I guess this is where it gets dark.
yeah,
Go on.
yeah. So yeah,
Mm.
it was it was happening basically without my mum's knowledge because it was happening at night. Um, when everyone is asleep, he would come to the children's bedroom, and obviously the other children are not aware of what's going on. Or sometimes he was taking me into his room. Um, they they had they slept in separate rooms, by the way, because obviously my mum had a lot of like younger children, and he used to wake up about 4 or 5 in the morning to go work, like in a factory or something. So where he was doing that job, he needed his sleep, so he slept in a separate room. So if he wanted to, he was taking me to his room, or, or he was abusing me in my own room with my other siblings there. Um, from from there, it was just like molestation, I would say. And as I got older, he started maybe when I was around, I think 2006, 2005. Yeah, my mom was actually in hospital, giving birth to one of my brothers. That's when he decided to, take my virginity while my mom was in hospital giving birth.
Okay,
So,
so let's pause here. So
yeah.
I know you and I have spoken twice. Are you okay to keep talking about the details of that you're giving? Because you're giving quite heavy details. Now
Um, I,
the
I,
question is for you to answer. Can you still talk about this?
yeah, I can continue. If I feel, if I feel like it's a bit too much, or I'll just hold back or pause for a minute.
Yeah, sure.
If I feel it's too much, yeah.
So just before, are you able to say not names but identify the nature of the relationship? Who is he?
Okay. Yeah, I can. Him and my mum are separated, by the way.
That was your mum. It
Recently,
was your
actually.
mum's partner,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that was your mum's boyfriend.
He was actually her husband. She didn't believe in shacking up and stuff like that, so she got married. Um, and actually with her first, well, my sister that she had with him and my brother. Basically, my mum had two children before she met him, so altogether six. So it's me and my brother, and then six that she had with him. So between my brother, who's younger than me, it was literally 2 years in between them. So she didn't meet him that long after she came to Holland, because we were born in Italy.
Wow.
Well, sorry, I was born in Italy, and my mum traveled to Holland while she was pregnant with my
Mm.
brother. And I was born 93, he was born 94.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, much of a gap there.
Mm.
And then my sister that she had with her husband was born 96.
Mm. Mm.
So yeah.
Mhm.
Um, what was that? Why did I explain that? Now
So
I've
we were
lost my
saying,
track of thought.
so we were saying, who is he? That was your mum's husband
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah, yeah. So she's yeah, that's her husband, and yeah, I can talk about him
Oh,
basically. Yeah, that's what you were asking me, if it's an issue to mention who he is to me.
yeah.
Yeah, I can say that. And what happened from there? Where was I? Yeah, he did that while my mum was in hospital, and he just went about like everything was normal. Obviously, I didn't have the courage to tell my mum, even before it went to that level,
Mm.
because he had made me feel like this was something that I was doing that was bad, and telling me, you're going to get in trouble, mom's not going to be happy, just manipulating me. And as a child, you're going to believe, someone that you see as a, you know, as authority,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to feel like this person is just telling you the right thing to
Yeah.
do. And on top of that, I'll get into it later. I thought this man was my dad, but I found out a couple of years later that he wasn't. Um, Obviously, I found out by him telling me, but that's that's another whole story. I'll get to that. Um, so there, I think about a year later, we moved over to England. So where we moved over, I think we were staying with family, and I think three different family members we stayed with until we got into our own place. So during that time, he didn't bother doing anything because it was just too risky.
Right.
Obviously, now looking back, I can understand that it was too risky for him, so he didn't bother doing that. Um, but once, um, actually, he even started before we even moved into our own place, because he started taking me there because the house was empty, in the pretense of saying, oh, I'm just going to show her the house. So he was just taking me there and doing, whatever, trying to catch up. That's the only way I can put it. Um, and then once we moved in, he was just back to his normal routine. He was back to his normal routine of just coming whenever he wanted at night. Well, my mom is just knocked out, tired, looking after all the kids all day. Just taking advantage of that.
How old were you at the time?
Um, mm, I think I left. Well, it was 12, maybe like 12, 13, somewhere there. Not more than 13.
Mm.
So this just continued up until we left the country, and we were between family members' houses until we got settled.
And then what age did it kind of end?
What
Yeah.
age did it end? That's when I left the house. When, no, I spoke about it first at school, and then I was put in foster care
Mhm.
because
So,
he was
so
sent to
wait, what age did it what age did it stop?
Uh, I can't say exactly, but 13,
Oh, so it went
14.
on for how many years? What, a couple of years?
From what I remember, this was going on from like primary school
Right.
time to up to when it stopped, when it had to stop because I wasn't there anymore.
Mm.
So I spoke about it in school, and even that, um, who advised me to speak about it in school were people who were working in the house that we moved into. These were like maintenance people that the landlord sent, because I think the house wasn't completely ready to be, lived in. And he he had basically got these men uh, to try and get involved with me also to cover up his tracks,
Okay.
because I started my period and he started getting worried about pregnancy. And what he said to me was, at least if you get pregnant, he could just pin it on one of them, because he was thinking, okay, this girl is at home, she doesn't go anywhere, because we were really sheltered. That's why I didn't know, I didn't understand a lot of things that were going on, because we were very much sheltered of, we never had the conversation of the birds and the bees, none of that. Um, so I wasn't aware of what's wrong and what's right. I was never told, don't let someone touch that area, or don't let someone hold you like this. So I didn't know what was right and wrong. So these men, they started getting involved with me. So he would take me from, instead of taking me to school, he was taking me to one of the guys' house, and they were just taking advantage of me. And when I say these are men that have, their own children, well, one of them didn't have any children, but one of them did. So these were two grown men anyway. That's what I can say. At least 30 at that time.
30 years old, you mean?
Yeah, them, yeah. They were at least 30 years old.
Mm.
But he was doing all that just to cover his own tracks. So one of them, the one that didn't have any children, he had gained interest in me to basically, he wanted a relationship, or to get married basically. And my my stepdad was ready to allow that. And somehow, like, my mom wasn't convinced, but she thought, okay, if she wants him, then she can get married. But my mom was thinking, my daughter is not saying that. It was him who was pushing for it, But I think for him, his concern was, let me find a cover-up story, and at least, I'm gonna be able to take advantage at the same time as her being married. So whether she's pregnant for him or me, it's going to be his regardless, in his eyes anyway, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the man who wanted to take me serious, shall I say, or get married. That's the man who told me to tell someone at school, after I had a conversation with him of what was going on at home. And he even said he thought it was a bit odd for a man, because they didn't know that he wasn't my dad. They thought he was my dad. So they said, which, some relationships, stepdads do care for other children like their own, and some of them don't. So he just thought, why is this man doing this? Because it's a bit odd. If you have a child, like, a daughter, why would you just bring men, to abuse her? So he found it a bit odd, but when I told him what was going on, obviously it made sense to him. So that's why he told me, go and speak to the teachers at school, and you deal with it from there. And of course, when I did that, police came to the house and they arrested him. They took him away, to be on remand.
Remand, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they kept him there for a couple of months. they took him to Pentonville, but I was aware that my mum was still, you know, in contact with him and even visiting him. So I wasn't convinced of, you know, going back home because
Well, hold
she was asking me.
hold on. Let's pause. Your mum was in contact with him, but so when the school found out, police came and he was on remand, yeah. Then
Yeah.
and then are you still living at home?
Oh no, sorry, I didn't address that.
Oh.
No, I wasn't. I didn't go back home after that. They did like
yeah, yeah.
they did a kit on me to see everything that what was going on. You know, they did the DNA stuff. I think that I don't know what it's called, but there's a kit that they do. They took me to a clinic, and from there they took me to a foster carer. So that foster carer, in my opinion, I think this is something that needs to be worked on. Maybe, like as a temporary measure, you can put someone in an emergency placement that maybe they don't match up together, but at least try to find someone, you know, a foster carer that actually matches up to, you know, your background maybe, or, you know, it's something similar. But I know in the case of an emergency, I understand you can't be too fussy because it was, you know, within the same day they found me somewhere to go.
Yeah.
But I think that is maybe something that needs to be, you know, worked on.
Yeah. So what we can we'll critique social services, and that's actually the police, that particular thing there. That's a police thing, but so
okay.
it's all the same, really, in effect. So
Mm-hmm.
go back to your mum. Your
Yeah.
mum's still in contact with him.
What now?
No, at the time. So he was on remand.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I could tell, you know, that she was still talking to him and stuff like that. So I could tell because she was calling me to see how I feel about the situation. Fair enough, like to talk about it, but she started asking me, can you deny the claims that you made? So that made me wonder, okay, when you're asking me to deny the claims that I made, that sounds to me like, you know, you're ready to take the person back because you want him to come out of prison because because of being on remand.
How old are you at this point?
But between 13 and 14. What I remember, by 14, I went into my proper foster placement. That's why I'm saying I'm still. It was through a couple of months' time. All
Yeah.
this stuff was going on.
You're not 16. You're not 15 or 16. It looks like. So that's fine. So
No.
I'm getting a picture of your thinking and your age, which seems to be quite advanced. But
Yeah.
you're on the point that you were making. You felt that your mum was trying to get you to falsify experience.
Yeah. Just for the sake for her to keep, you know, the family together. So she wanted him to come back, and she wanted me to come back and play happy family, basically. And I wasn't ready to do that. I did. Can I say? I did try to be obedient because I felt like my mom didn't do anything to me. But in my head, I made the decision that I'm not going back. She wants to have her family together. So I just said, okay, I'll give you what you want. And I said to them that, you know, it wasn't true what had taken place. Because I felt at least if I've got my mum, because I didn't have my dad, I thought if I've got my mum, at least I've got some type of relationship, because we didn't really have a lot of family that we were in contact with as it was. Because the family that we were living with when we first came here until we got our place, we all fell out. When we were leaving their homes, it was because we had fallen out with them. You know, people only want you in their house for so much time, you know, with 7 at the time. It's not easy. Yeah. So I ended up going along with what she had asked me, because she kept asking me. She felt sorry for him. She said, you know, he's lost weight. He's not safe in there. I don't know why he wasn't safe. I wasn't told why, but I don't know. But I do know they do tend to attack people who have done such crimes. Um, so after going along with that, I made it a decision in my head, okay, there's no way I can go back there, because where she's ready to take him back, that means if he comes out, he will be back in the house because she wants him there. So that made me spiral, and leave the foster carer that I was with. And what didn't help was the fact that we didn't have a relationship.
Who?
I know it was a,
You mean
sorry?
foster carer?
Yeah. I ended up leaving her home and, just falling into the wrong crowd, because I think what would have helped is having a relationship to be able to, talk to the person. If she'd made maybe a bit of effort, I would have felt like I had someone to talk to.
Yeah.
But I found maybe we didn't click. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. Obviously,
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about falling into the wrong crowd. Why would you do that? What was your influence? How did that happen?
well, it's the fact that my mum wasn't too worried about my feelings or wanting to keep me in the picture. She wanted to keep us all in the picture, and I felt in reality that wasn't going to work. So I felt a bit down. I was like, I didn't know what to do. My head was all over the place. I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't know this woman. She's a stranger to me. We're not talking to each other. I'm just in my room. Um, I just decided to go out and, I met some people, when you're young, maybe a guy might talk to you and then you fall into that crowd. And I ended up just staying around them. Where I stayed around them, I wasn't into drugs, I must say, thank God. I didn't get influenced to take drugs, but I was around the wrong crowd. So I ended up meeting one guy who ended up thinking, okay, I've got a young girl, and he ended up using me to take around to his friends to be used, basically. So I would say he was grooming me to be used. So that did happen. Um, from there, he ended up meeting my ex. So that was one of his friends that he took me to. So then my ex decided, okay, I'm not going to let you go, because he said he liked me. So he didn't want that for me. Where he didn't want to let me go, obviously, the friend came back to take me away to do whatever he wanted with me, basically, to take me to whoever he wanted, to use me anyhow. Um, and they got into it because he said he knew that I was in the house, but he didn't want to let me go. So these were friends that basically fell out because he wanted to use me anyhow, and my ex wanted me to himself, basically. So the guy ended up leaving it alone, and I stayed in my ex's house for maybe 2 months, 3 months, and then I ended up, going to meet social services. And I was put in my permanent place, to stay, that I stayed at for, can I say, until I was like 17?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I stayed there till I was about 16, 17. I think just after I turned 17, I moved into like a shared house. That's the story,
Okay.
up to that point. I don't know if you want more details, or
So
you want to understand a bit more.
led by you in a way, but I'm
I
gonna.
just jumped.
It's so nice. Okay, guys, ask your questions. This is good learning. The questions that you ask will help you with how you do assessments anyway. But this is raw and real of an experience. I've got a question for you. This is it. I was just going to ask that question. Do you speak to your mum now?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Why do you speak to your mom now?
I just want a relationship. I don't have any other family that, we that I have. When it comes to as a mother, she did everything that she could. Apart from that, where she went wrong, I would say, with not protecting us, or well, not protecting me, um, because I don't have any aunties or uncles. We do, but we are not in contact. So she's the only family that I have here.
Do you, do you get on?
We get on, but when the conversation comes up, it's a bit awkward because she it comes across like she knows that it did happen, but she doesn't want to verbally say it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Where's your mum from?
Oh, yeah, she's Somali.
She's Somalia.
Yeah.
Can you describe her background?
Um, she she left she left she left Somalia with her dad. Um, they it was just her and her brother, and they went with their dad together and left. Obviously, the mum and dad had separated, so they went with their dad to Italy, and that's where I was born. And she didn't have much of a relationship with her mum, you know, from there. She only, had her dad. Um, I don't know
No.
what else. What else can
What
I
else
explain to you about?
do you know? That's fine. You've answered. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Another question: was you offered counselling or any other support?
I was offered counseling in school. I I was doing some counseling, but I don't think the lady was there more so for helping with like work experience or the next stage in life. Can I say she was helping with like CVs and stuff like that. But I think maybe because she knew I was in foster care that she was talking to me about, you know, my life. But I was never put in proper counseling, if that makes sense. That wasn't arranged for me.
So this is about 15 years ago, roughly, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm just thinking about what social services looked like 15 years ago. I'm not sure, uh, but
Hmm.
social services and the schools. I mean, now in schools, a lot of schools will have a school counsellor. Social services will get together and say, right, what can we do? And the counselling will be at the top of the list. 15 years ago, I don't know. But
Okay.
you saying that it wasn't really offered to you as such.
No.
But then you had a type of counselling from the careers advisor.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But that person is not qualified
Mm.
in that sense.
Was it good though? Was it beneficial?
Yeah, it was someone to talk to because I felt, in school at that age, if you speak to someone about your business, which I did, they speak your business, especially when you get into it with them.
Oh wow.
And you know how girls can be at that age. So,
Is there a part of your experience where there was a distrust for social services
um,
in terms of the family culture? Don't say anything to anyone.
with so, what do you mean
Like,
with, you said family culture or like social services?
okay, let me go back. In fact, no. In fact, I'll ask that question later on. Don't worry. I'll come back to that. Let me.
Okay.
Did your stepdad abuse any of your siblings, as far as you know?
I have asked them myself, and they've said no. There was social services involvement. Even when he'd come back, they kept up with them for about a year. and nothing had come out, from social services or even my conversations with them, because my concern was I had three younger sisters there.
Mm.
I had three younger. I think actually the third one. No, was it the third one? No, the fourth one. I think she came. She came after I left. Yeah. So there was two there at the time, because there's four boys and four girls in the house. So there was two there at the time, and when I had spoken to them, they said no. No. They said no.
Oh, okay. And so that man avoided a conviction because you changed your story.
Yes. Yes.
Do you sorry, did you want to say something?
Yeah.
Did you want to say?
Um. The thing is, I know sometimes the police can take it further if they feel like, they've got enough evidence. But another thing I want to mention is, because of what he had done with getting the other men involved, um, if they couldn't get the DNA,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. So, I don't think he thought that it was going to blow up like this. His concern was me getting pregnant. That was why he got them involved. Sorry, guys, I don't know if the questions are for you to read to
No,
me,
I'll read them. Don't worry.
but I can't answer.
Don't worry. I'll
Okay,
ask.
I'm trying to talk. I'm seeing the questions. Okay.
Ignore
Um.
them. Let me deal with it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Sorry, where was I now? Yeah. So I think where they couldn't get the DNA as well.
Mm.
Um. I think that messed it up a bit as well, because what could they go by?
Okay.
It was going to be just my word against his, and he was denying it.
Okay.
And I took it back also, because of wanting a relationship, with my mom, and trying to do the right thing, because of the way she was talking to me. She wasn't talking to me in a rude or bad way, but that's what she wanted me to do, because she wanted her family together.
Yeah. Okay. Um, Jamstar, I'll come back to your question. How was your relationship with your siblings? How's your relationship with your siblings, and are they aware of what happened to you?
Um, I think there's only two of them that are aware. That's the two eldest are aware. My sister told me that she did tell my second brother, um, and he wouldn't believe it, and he got angry, and then she said she took it back. I don't know how you can say something like that and then take it back. Um, I don't know how that went. I wasn't there for that conversation, but yeah, that up to today, it's only two of them
Yeah.
that know.
Okay. Firstly, this is from MXY saying, firstly, sorry about what happened to you. What would a good foster carer look like to you?
Well, the second foster carer that I had was a good one. Um, she she did bond with me. She did things with me. She spoke to me, when I would go out and, let's say, come home late, because I did have the relationship with an older man. So obviously he didn't care about my education. She was motivating me to keep up with my education, rather than just, running away and spending time with him.
Mm.
Um, the family was involved, but with the other foster care, I didn't spend a lot of time with her at her home, I mean. But even when people were coming, it was as if, I wasn't there, I wasn't spoken to. It was just like as if I was there just, for the paycheck. I was just in a shared accommodation. That's what it came across to me like. Like, they didn't care about me, but they cared about the money that they were getting for me.
Oh my goodness. Hold the line.
So I'm just saying what I felt at the
No,
time. I just was like, why am I here?
man. So, okay, pause. Let me just get pen and paper. I forgot to get that. One second.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Oh, sorry about that. Uh,
No,
yeah, you were saying about it's like you were just shoved in a building where, if it works, yeah, where people, it's like they just all they cared about was the money.
yeah, yeah. But the second foster carer, I spent like I would say about was it 3 years? Yeah, she was good. And because they moved me out of the area, she had her own what is it? Is it called a manager? I'm not sure. She was quite good and involved as well, talking to me, taking her time. Um, you know, because they moved me out of the borough to try and get me away from my ex. So she did put in a bit of effort as well with talking to me and having a bond, having some type of relationship. I think there needs to be times when I don't know what they can do and with the funding, but there needs to be some type of bonding between, professionals and foster children, because how can they feel connected to you to be able to talk to you, especially when you get to that age of, being a teenager?
Yeah. Is that a question or just a comment?
It's a comment.
Mm,
I think it's a
mm,
comment. Yeah,
mm, mm.
yeah,
So I guess another question is, what would you have wanted from, this is from
yeah.
Bits and Peaches. What would you have wanted from professionals which you didn't receive outside of counselling? So maybe social workers or foster carers. What would you have wanted from them? What would have helped you? I guess.
I think I wouldn't have experienced some of the grooming, apart from what my stepdad had done, if the first foster placement, which obviously people have different characters. Some people do it for the money, some people do it, because they care. But if that experience wasn't as bad as it was, I don't think I would have gone through the grooming that I went through with the second man, I would say, in my life, who had just, used me to move around and be abused by other men. And then I wouldn't have also probably met my ex as well from that same environment, who then also wanted a relationship with me, even though he was 9 years older. So what would a 14 and a 23-year-old, you know, have in common?
Yeah.
Um, so if that relationship was good, or she actually at least made the effort to talk to me, and um, I don't know. I think that that would have made a big difference to my situation, I would say, because I would have felt like from the first situation I've gotten into after what I went through, I've got someone that cares, you know. I've got someone I can open up to. But because I wasn't given that ability, no one had opened up their doors. She did open up the doors to come into her home, but she didn't open up the doors for me to express and feel comfortable. I felt uncomfortable, but yet I'm at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 not for the weak. Yeah, show genuine interest.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
she
So
didn't.
this is what we're gonna do, guys. I'm gonna
Mhm.
end this live and I'm gonna restart the live because it ends at 1 hour. But I'm gonna end it
Okay.
and then we're gonna come back in literally in about 10 seconds time for the second
Mhm.
session. It won't be this long. Well, I hope not anyway. But it's as long as it goes on as long as you need it to. Katie, could
Yeah.
the oh yeah. So what we'll do, we're going to end it now, and then what we're going to look at is where you are now. We want to understand your family situation now, because guys, it's actually quite interesting how this has worked out. if you want to know how it works, just tune into the second half. Oh gosh, I've written down a lot of your questions. Let me just see a couple of comments here. In fact, no, let me go back to Sarah. I am Sarah Living. I'm going to do some work with them soon. As a foster carer, I'm sorry that you experienced this with your first foster carer. Yeah. So not for the weakest saying they didn't integrate you.
Mm-hmm.
And another comment here, knowledge is power. I wonder if some foster carers feel ill-equipped to deal with the trauma you experienced. I missed the beginning of the live. Have you considered supporting the training for foster carers? That is an option for you. Let me just write,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know if you know, but there is a big initiative from the government to really utilize care leavers. But I'll talk to you about it afterwards. It's going to be big. I'm really thankful for that. Knowledge is power. Yeah. So guys, I'm going to end this live. I'm going to see you in about 20 seconds, and I have some more questions to ask, and we're going to let you know how this worked out. We left you on a cliff.
Oh.
This is like EastEnders. We're leaving you on a cliffhanger. Thanks. I'll see you guys in a sec. How do you feel about changing your mind? Okay, in fact, before we go any further, there's a lot more people in the live at the moment. So let me just kind of summarize before we go into it. Welcome back to the Social Work Race platform. This is where we have very down-to-earth discussions around what it is to social work, real life cases a lot of the time, interviews with other professionals. It's heavy stuff. Well done, you've got the camera off. We have someone here who we're keeping the camera off for good reason, because she's telling a very intense story, and we just want to protect people's identities. This is what people get frustrated with when they say secret courts. If you look at my TikTok channel, it's been killing me, because a lot of people out there believe that the family courts and children's courts are secret, but no, it's to protect people's identity when they're below the age of 18. And that's what I'm doing in this show, because you're being very frank, and I don't want you to expose anybody. So I want to thank you for joining us and sharing your story about being a care leaver. What do we mean by care leaver? Someone who, for whatever reason, neglect or abuse has ended up into foster care, or in foster care, and that is preceded by, like I said, abuse or neglect, significant harm. And here we are having a conversation about it with someone who's gone through it and has articulated her story extremely well and very well composed. I don't know how you do it. We're on part 2 now, and I've got some more questions from the first live. How do you feel? Now, let's just bear this in mind. I think, again, I have to remember, not everyone's been listening. So obviously you were groomed and sexually assaulted quite a lot as a early teen, even preteen. Is that fair?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're now 30 years old. The disclosure came out, police got involved. The perpetrator, which was your mum's boyfriend, was on remand, but you took back your story. Your mum was trying to get you to just change your story so that the family could be a family again. You were also, how do we describe this without sounding crass? The stepfather also took you to be abused by other men to cover his abuse of you. When this happened, when you made this disclosure, you were put in care, and the question I have for you is, how do you feel about changing your mind about what happened?
Changing my mind about what happened.
Sorry, about changing your story with the police. That's what I should have said.
As I've gotten older, I think justice hasn't been served. I don't know if I can say I want, revenge is a strong word, but I just think about how would I feel as a mother now, if this had happened to my child, because I can't see myself picking. I would say that is picking, you know, my husband over my child, which should be my priority. That is the thing that I think now it does come to my head. But I try not to dwell too much, because if I wasn't able to get justice back then because of the evidence, and also because of my doing of taking back what I said, I don't think there's much I can do now.
Yeah.
That's what I
Well,
stand with that.
that leads on to the question: do you have any resentment?
Oh, I do, because even recently, my mom and her husband had separated, literally about 7 months ago now, and I overheard as she was talking. He went to go visit family back home. He had a wife before my mom, and he went to visit them, and he ended up, cozying up to the mother to those children, and she wasn't too happy about that. And she ended up mentioning, "Oh, I'll embarrass you if you don't, if you don't answer me or talk to me or let me know, what's going on." And to me, it felt like, okay, you didn't protect me. I didn't say it to her because I didn't want to open up that wound again. I didn't say it to her, but I felt like, how are you using this as a threat to him, but you didn't defend me against it?
Yeah, that's deep. That's deep. Yeah.
I'm talking about the stepfather.
The same person.
Yeah. No, some not for the week asked me, is this the same guy?
Yeah. So is it the same person with the man that we're talking about?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. They just separated. And obviously their oldest she's 27 now, so they've been together for about 28 years.
Mm. So, this is. I want to say so much, and I'm like, don't say too much because it's not a therapy session.
Yeah.
I, you know, I just want to be clear, guys. I don't encourage people to share this heavy a story, but I had a conversation because you contacted me through TikTok, wasn't it? I think it was TikTok, and you said that you were just happy to share your story, but we have a lot of conversations about this before we do this because I know how heavy it is. It's not happened to me what you're talking about, so I don't find it easy to just have these sessions.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm just verbalizing that this is hard for me to do because there are questions I want to ask and there's things I want to say, there's advice I want to give. And this is again learning as a social worker. There's a time to talk and there's a time to just listen. Um,
Yeah.
but I want to encourage you, just at this point, that sometimes just if you ever get the opportunity to, or the courage, or if you feel that there's an opportunity to deal with it properly, it may look bad, but it's not always bad. It's just what it looks like at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through this so many times, and in my personal life, so you're not alone. Let me move on. I'll talk about this more later on. Someone asked, I think Nats asked this question. What has helped you stay so strong?
I think having gone through all of that, I think has helped me become numb. I don't know if that's the right description. Um, I used to I used to get a bit emotional explaining it, but I think now I've just take it as facts of what had happened, and that's just what it is. That's how I take it now. Um, even now I'm going through all the details. I was a little bit nervous at the start, but I haven't got to a point where I felt like I was about to get emotional.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can say I'm still numb to it now. Um, all these things affect, your emotions. Being disappointed over and over again. If you're seeing your mum all the time and not being able, yeah, she stayed with her husband, but I didn't have that relationship I wanted to have with her because he was in the house. I wasn't going over there with my children. I was avoiding going to her house. I was just picking her up and, we would go where we need to go or go to my house, that's about it. And I wouldn't go inside the house.
Hmm.
So we never got to, have that relationship that I wanted to have. Um, but it's made me numb because um I've had to see my mom going into a home where I want to go in and, spend time with my siblings properly, if that makes sense, because I've got 7 younger siblings. Now I'm 30 and the youngest is 15. So you can imagine there's at the most, I think there's a 3-year gap between, 2 of my siblings. So I have missed out on family quality time because he was in the house, you know? So all that it's always been a reminder. There has been times when I've gone to drop my mum home and I've ended up, seeing him, which I've always hated, but I couldn't avoid because he might be coming back or going out somewhere. And I end up seeing him, and obviously it reminds me. And sometimes my mom can be insensitive, wondering why is this, bothering you? Why does it anger you? Because the feeling that I feel is anger because I see someone who hasn't dealt with the consequence of, his actions. Someone who's gotten away with, something of such big effects that it had on my life. I don't know what my life would have been like if I didn't go through that. I might not have become a young mum. I might have just continued, my education. I don't know. I can't know now.
I've got.
Yeah.
I'm only going to ask you one more question.
Yeah.
That's what my conscience would allow me to ask. Um, Looking back, or even now, in fact, compare now to then, and then actually, do you blame yourself in any way for what happened?
I don't. I didn't, and I don't. Um, but I can say my mom tried to influence me to make me feel like it was my fault for not speaking out.
Ah, okay, explain
But
explain that. What do you mean?
I did try to tell her that this is what he was saying to me, and that's why I felt like, I was the bad guy. Because he would talk to me like I'm doing something bad. If you say this and that, has happened, then mom is gonna get angry, she's gonna beat you. Um, yeah, that is why. Um, yeah. Sorry, my head is it's all over the place right now. I think now it's kind of coming all back. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I think it's ending soon anyway. I don't know if you've got more questions, but
No, no, no. Listen, I'm gonna start asking questions now. But
yeah.
well, sort of. I'm gonna change the tune of this now. Listen, someone mentioned
Yeah.
earlier on, like your story will do well with teaching foster carers. There is opportunities out there to teach,
Mhm.
or to be a part of the training process for foster carers. I know that for a fact. So I'm happy to
Okay.
help you with that if you want. Also, I think someone said turn your pain into pain. No, no. Here's somewhere. Transform your pain to purpose from Nene 100, right? And it can happen when you're ready, if you're ever ready. But if the opportunity, um, you know, I would love to help you do that. There's nothing in it
Yeah.
for apart from just help.
Yeah.
I get satisfaction by helping people, and we can talk afterwards, because we have to reflect about how this went. But
Yeah.
I want you to understand that your story has the ability to change lives. Still, it's not just a sad story, and there's a lot of work for you to do. And interesting that what is so raw about this is that you're still growing, you're still going through it in some ways, and so it's
Yeah.
over, and it probably never will be, which is fine. The real art of it is how you deal with things. But I think
Mhm.
that a part of dealing with it is helping people get out of the same mess. So there's,
100%.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, we'll talk about it after. Um, I want to talk about what your family situation is now. So, guys, look, we're taking a big turn now. Tell me, because you surprised me when you were talking to me. I was like, oh man, this story. This was in
Yeah.
private, and then I was like, okay, so what's your family situation now?
Oh, yeah. I'll answer now.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm married and I've got, 4 children in total now. My youngest being 6 months, and I'm in a healthy marriage. Healthy marriage. No abuse, no toxicity, nothing.
yeah, and
Yeah. Patience has paid off, I would say. Patience, and trying to stay on the right path because it could have ended very differently. I could have ended in prison. I could have ended up using drugs, alcohol. Yeah, yeah. I'm glad it didn't go that way.
listen, man. The oldest and youngest is how old? Or what are the ages, if you don't mind?
Eldest is 12. Uh, my second child is 6. My third is 2, and then my fourth is 6 months.
Are there any more children? Are there any more children on the way?
No, no, no. I am done. Even the fourth wasn't expected, but it happened, and yeah, we take it on the chin. That's it.
Listen, I say to,
That's it. It's a lot.
I say to everybody, not only the first one was expected. The rest are like, wow, whoops. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the first one you're excited for is the first time, isn't it? But when when the rest come and you keep getting surprises. No, the fourth one was a surprise, I must say. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll take it on.
No, well
It's
done.
fine. Yeah.
So this is it. The audience is going to throw their compliments through because that's what we do here.
Thank
But
you, guys.
I'm waiting for your book.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm waiting for more because we can't just put this
Mhm.
life experience with these outcomes. You know what's the most powerful thing is when you said I'm happily married, 4 children, and it's not toxic. Do you know how much of a statistical improbability you are?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. No, there's not a lot of good people left, and people are struggling to keep it together, like, marriage or even relationship wise. So, I am grateful that I'm in a good situation. I'm in a good marriage. Good, children are behaved well. Um, yeah, I can't ask for more.
Mm. Thank you for your time. Your fortitude is amazing. That's what someone's saying. Inspiration. You know what it is that sometimes when people
Yeah.
go through a lot in life, even though I've never actually seen your face. I don't know what you look like. I don't know what your expressions are, but I'm listening to your voice and I cannot tell you went through this,
Hmm.
which is a testament to something special.
When I have decided to share with, someone that I feel is responsible with the information I'm sharing with them, um, even that I'm a bit iffy about because of the experiences I've had, how when you're younger, people tend to throw it in your face when you share stuff with them. When I do share, they do get surprised and they're like, you look like you're telling a story, like as if it didn't happen to you.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, I could say that that's part of being numb to what's happened, and it's been a long time now. But I've I've just been, can I say, distracting and diverting my attention from that,
Mm.
trying to avoid, even though I've got reminders
Mm.
in life. um you know it's just recently that that reminder has just disappeared from the picture by them separating. That's what I can say. But yeah, I'm happy in life, and um I am happy that I was able to share the story, and hopefully social workers can make that change for the young people and the small children as well, because there are smaller children than what age I was when I got the help and got out of the home that are going through it.
This is it. My last thing. What do you want to say to student social workers? What do you want to say to social workers? And whatever you feel to say.
Um, I would say try and have, a relationship with your young person or child. I don't know what age group you all are working with. Um, because if you don't have a good relationship with them, they're not going to be able to feel comfortable with you. Because I found that when I was having meetings, it was very formal, and
Mm.
when it's formal, you feel like I can only compare it to going to a GP or the dentist. It's just, okay, what's happening? What do you need? How have you been behaving? Or, it's just too formal. Remember, this is the child's life that we're talking about.
So
If you want them to,
so what you're saying there, just to be clear about what you're saying, like if we have meetings, make them less
yeah,
formal, make them a bit more interpersonal, make them more meaningful. Yeah, am I
yeah,
typing it right?
yeah, definitely. That's the better wording. And also maybe try to match up to the best of ability, to the best of what is available.
Mm.
I understand that it's not always possible
Mm.
to get, social foster carers that are, of similar backgrounds, or that get along. It's not always possible, but I don't know if it's to do with the pay, maybe to pull in more foster carers. I don't know, but maybe to have more of a variety. Because even when I had my daughter, because of the relationship I was in with my ex, um, I was put in a woman's home. Mind you, I'm Muslim, and she had a dog, and she wasn't Muslim, obviously, and because most of the time Muslims, we can't keep dogs in the home; they're meant to be outside of the home.
Mm.
So where she had a dog, and I wasn't comfortable with being around the dog, and she was obviously eating non halal meats, and obviously I eat halal meat. It was just a bit weird. Like I felt I didn't feel comfortable, and also her son was there, and he had a girlfriend coming over. I know it's his mom's house, but it just wasn't something that was agreeable with me, because I I don't um I don't I didn't feel comfortable with men just walking around the house. By that time I was getting closer to God, and you know not believing in marriage. I mean, a relationship before, marriage, if that makes sense. I don't want to be rude. That's why I'm talking like that now, because I know some people find it okay.
No.
Obviously,
No.
I didn't.
This is about you.
Yeah,
other people. This is about you.
yeah, yeah. So the lady was Saint Lucian, and she had a dog, and she wasn't Muslim. So it's hard because then, like, let's say it was Eid, how was I going to celebrate it now where I'm at home and this person doesn't celebrate that? She goes to church. So it becomes a bit difficult.
Do you know what? Honestly, foster care is a lot more aware now.
Okay.
And when we are placing children, we have to document exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We do our best because we can only then say, well, you're going to have to go to Mary's house because that's the only one available. And Mary might be of that St. Lucian family that you're talking about. But just so everyone knows, we have to go through that in detail. And then we have to have reviews. How is the foster care catering to your religious needs? But in your time, probably we didn't do that, to be fair. So, yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was just, yeah, you go into this house and that's that.
Yeah.
And actually, it was actually organized while I was in hospital because they didn't even expect me to give birth. But I was literally within a week of my due date, so I don't know how they hadn't even looked into.
How old was you when you had your first? 15.
I just turned 18.
18.
I was 18 in about a month. Yeah.
Okay.
So I took mother and baby, and yeah, that was the situation. But even after that, they put me in another lady's home who also wasn't Muslim, who was cooking pork and all sorts. So, it was just one after the other. So they had the opportunity and they done it again. So it's just, what excuses can you make,
Back then there was less accountability. Now they have to talk about it. And if you've got big problems with it, they will move you. They will.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Nowadays they will move you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't
couldn't.
So they should have been in my house, you know what I mean?
Sorry?
We don't eat pork here, so we would have. You should.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, that would have been an option.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, look,
yeah.
Thank you very much. If the audience can just show their love, as we always do, there's more conversations to have with you. I'll talk to you after this session. I'll call you. Audience, thank you for your questions. You've all been brave to ask. They are challenging questions, and I want to thank my guests for turning up and just being in the deep end with this. It's still an open wound, which makes this one so interesting, but done with so much bravery and dignity. And we're so glad that you've got the outcome. And I think that your outcome is in itself a testament and a motivator and inspiration for people who you haven't even spoken to yet. So I think there's a lot of people waiting to speak to you. You're still young, and there's a lot of work to be done. So yeah, thank you. And also hats off to your husband for being a man.
He's a good caring man. He's a good caring man. He's helped me in my healing journey and given me assurance, because security was obviously an issue obviously after being disappointed by the amount of people that I thought cared. So yeah, he's done his part in my healing journey. I'm not fully there yet, but bit by bit, maybe I'll look into counseling when the little one gets a little bigger. And yeah.
Love it. Thank you. Tell him I said big up. And thank you, audience. I'm going to let you all go now, and it's time for bed.
Yeah.
Sitting in the car freezing. Look at that. That's dedication. I'm so sorry, man.
No, you're right. I didn't want to disturb the family. Everyone's gone to bed,
Actually, the truth is you're taking time out. That's what this is, really.
Yeah. It's a bit of a chit chat, I guess. I had my coffee in the car, put the heater on when it got a bit cold. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a hot drink now. Yeah, well, I appreciate your time, man. Listen, it was heartfelt, man. You know, guys, this will be saved. Play it back, listen to it. There's a lot to learn. And sis, thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Keep day. We have another learning session, 8 p.m. Take care, everyone.